We are wise and wide-eyed. We are matriarchs and mavericks. We are curious, courteous, and so courageous. We are Arizona, and we are losing someone special every day to prescription painkillers. We are not giving up. Talk with your family. Dispose of medicine properly. Be brave enough to get help if you need it. Together, we can overcome this epidemic. Learn more at rethinkrxabuse.org.
When we hear of drug abuse, we often think of heroin, LSD, things like that. You don't often think about prescription drugs. Over the past couple years, that's become a bigger and bigger issue. And today we have Debbie Moak from Not My Kid to talk to us about the prescription drug abuse that we have here in Arizona, because it's a very big problem, and how we can deal with it not only with ourselves but with our children. So Debbie, thank you for being here today.
And thank you for having me. Monica, I need to share with you, however, I founded Not My Kids 17 years ago, and I'm actually working for Governor Doug Ducey now in the governor's office.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. And both of those organizations are great. Not My Kid is fantastic. I'm so glad you co-founded that.
Yes.
And then to move over and work in Doug Ducey's office, I mean, you're just helping so many people.
Thank you. It is truly the honor and joy of my life to get to work with so many kids and so many families on these important issues.
So this is a really important issue. Arizona, oftentimes we top the list for some not so great things. This happens to be one of them.
No, we're actually 15th in the nation for drug overdose deaths. So Arizona is losing more than one unique individual a day, and sadly we're still on the increase as of this year. We're working so hard to turn this around here in Arizona, and yet we need the help of all families in all communities, and there are things they can do right in their home to assure that other people don't die.
Well, let's focus on kids for a minute, because I have two boys, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, and I talk a lot about, to my friends, you know, prescription drugs, you have to be really careful because kids think pills are cool. I mean, they see their vitamins or whatever, and they might think your pills are cool. So what are some things that parents can do inside their home that I don't think we realize when it comes to our medicines?
It's actually one of the most important things that you can do, and that unfortunately, doctors tend to overprescribe the amount that someone might need after a root canal or after a surgery. Don't hold on to those medications. When you're done managing your pain, then get rid of them. Take them. We have hundreds of drop boxes in Arizona. There's one nearby you.
Oh, really?
Yes, go dump them in a drop box or at work. Don't flush them down the toilet into our water supply. Also, if you're not going to take them to a box, crush them up, put them in cat litter, something.
Well, will the animals sniff those or eat those? I know that's crazy, but
right, crush it up, put it in a baggie, and dump it. The best thing to do, again, take it to a drop box where it could be properly disposed, or lock it up. It is still, Monica, the #1 way that kids get hold of these prescriptions. It is your medicine cabinets, and you're responsible for that. Do something about it.
We talk about locking up our firearms or keeping knives and scissors away from kids, but often we don't think about prescription drugs and locking them up. So that's a really good point that parents need to be aware of. That's a lot with little kids. Let's talk about teenagers for a minute, because summer is coming up, even though it feels like it's already here. And a lot of teenagers are at home at different hours than their parents are, and they have friends that come over. So what should be done in that situation?
I am so glad you brought up summer, because it's actually June and July are the biggest months of the year for the start of new use.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and it makes sense. Kids have less supervision.
That's true.
More unsupervised hours.
That's right.
And they're risk takers naturally. So it's our job to monitor these things like prescription drugs. And by the way, some of the other things the kids do first. Here in Arizona, our kids take their first drink at 12 years, 9 months.
Oh my goodness.
They will smoke a joint on the average 13 years, 7 months. There's so much we can do. And why it's important to make sure they don't do those things first is very often kids will add the abuse of a prescription drug while they're drinking and already high. Yes.
And I think some of them think that maybe it's not as big of a deal because, hey, my mom and dad do it. It's medicine, right? So, Debbie, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing this important information with us. And if you want more information, go to the website, because it is an incredible website over at Governor Ducey's office that has great information. It's rethinkrxabuse.org. rethinkrxabuse.org. Protect your children, protect other people in your family. It is a necessity. Debbie, thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica.
And more coming up on Arizona Daily Mix.